shall we begin from there, General? Can you describe what this slide is telling us?
Thank you, Commissioners. In an attempt to consolidate all the information that we have collected and confirmed to date, starting with the vehicle itself, as we can see it in the picture, as well as the registration numbers. And then on top, I think if we scroll down, if we scroll up, we'll see the Lieutenant General who is linked with the driving of the same car on the 9th of October. And maybe also to mention that we have additional information that is showing, that is helping us with the daily movement of the car. That will direct us to the identification of drivers or driver as we finish off the investigation. But the purpose of this part is mainly to confirm the as well as the owner. If we scroll,
Can you go down?
we scroll up, and then the car is registered or owned by a gentleman named Scanik Stewart James. If we scroll, I'm not sure whether it will be back up. A quick, let's scroll again, and then on the left.
To the left.
To the left or to the right?
This.
To the.
This.
Yeah. So a quick profile of the owner of the car. As I've mentioned, Mr. James is having a total of 34 cases. He was found guilty on 18 of them, and 11 were withdrawn, and 5 he was found not guilty. That is the profile as per our systems of the owner of the car. Now,
the owner of the Toyota Baki.
Yes.
And if we, okay, so the 18, total of 34 cases against him, and in which he was found guilty in 18. Can we just scroll down to see the details of those cases? And if you can start, perhaps, yes, right at the end.
The profile of the cases, maybe then I'll get guidance from the commissioners if we have to go through all 34, 5 of them, but we have listed all of them, starting with the Brighton Beach. Most of them are from KZN. There is only one that is from the Northwest Province, starting with the Brighton Beach case number of 2011, where he was
perhaps
found guilty.
Only those where he was found guilty.
Guilty, yes.
Thank you, Chair. And then the next one where he was found guilty, the Chatsworth, same year in January, which is few months before the Brighton Beach one. He was found, he committed, because the case number is the day of the offense. So it's not the day of
The verdict. Yeah.
of conviction or being found guilty. So moving to the third one, found guilty, Durban
So
Central.
the Chatsworth one was for carjacking.
The Chatsworth again in January, same year, 2011, the carjacking, which is not far away from the first carjacking that we started with, more or less the same month, and then another guilty, 2010. This time around, the car is not hijacked, but it's stolen, theft of a motor vehicle, Durban Central case, found guilty again. And then Durban North, another theft of a motor vehicle, found guilty in 2011 on the 5th month. The busiest years with the quick analysis from 2010, 2011, we are still there. Then we are moving to the next ones, Durban North again, same year, 2 months apart, another theft of a motor vehicle found guilty. Then the withdrawn, another carjacking, same year on the 6th month. It looks like then there is a carjacking or theft each and every month in different police stations. This one is Hillcrest. Another Hillcrest on the...
That one was not guilty.
The Howick, 2011 again on the 10th month, theft of a motor vehicle. Another one, Malvern, another car hijacked, followed by the Marine Hill, 2011 again, on the 6th month, another car jacking found guilty, and then not guilty, withdrawn, then guilty again, 2011, case carjacking, Newlands East in Durban, another one, not far from Durban, Pinetown. On the 6th month, another car hijacking found guilty. And then the withdrawn, another one, Richards Bay, 2012, for a change now. We're moving away from 2010, 2011. And then the assault, GPH, followed by the common assault around the same area, Richards Bay, and malicious damage to property around
Sorry,
Richards.
just a second. The Richards Bay was 2021.
It was 2021, and then the not guilty Richards Bay, and the theft of a motor vehicle in 2011. The special years of stealing or hijacking cars between 2010 and 2011. And then Richards Bay, common or withdrawn, another withdrawn, not guilty, withdrawn, another guilty, Town Hill, theft of a motor vehicle during 2012, and then another guilty in the same area the previous year, which is 2011, for a theft of a motor vehicle, and then the Wentworth in 2011 around Durban for the carjacking. And then the last one then is 2011 case. He was found guilty for carjacking. The list as reflected, there are lots of questions. If you commit so many theft and hijackings within the space of 2 years and you are found guilty, how many years and when are you serving your sentences? Because everything is like in a very short space of time. That is part of investigation that is still ongoing. That is the criminal profile of the owner of the buggy so far.
So this is the vehicle that General Sibiya got into on the day of the raid on his home. And this is the person who owns it, and he has quite a long rap sheet. And quite serious crimes too. Would you agree?
I fully agree, Commissioners.
Okay, so if we want to wrap up this section, unless there's anything else you want to say on this slide, General, no? Okay, so then can we turn to CJC 32, it's page 16. And can you describe what we see in that picture?
On the picture is the day the Deputy National Commissioner was appearing in the ad hoc committee with the same gentleman, owner of the car, acting like his close protector in the highest offices of government for 2 days. We then captured that so as then we can finalize our link and relationship. Thank you.
Okay. So is the purpose of this photograph to show that he is in the presence of General Sibiya and in Parliament?
That's correct, Commissioners.
I would not have been able to recognize him in the picture in Parliament because he's clean-shaven here and is heavily bearded in the other picture where you show the ownership of the Toyota Hilux double cab buggy. How did you establish the identity?
That is correct, Commissioner. When we do the images, we want to do them in line with the photo that is on the system. But then the personal information is the one that will confirm our pieces of information. But we would not want to use the photo image from the other system when we are talking on the other system.
Complicated for me, but I'll let it ride, as they say.
But
General,
you go ahead, Commissioner.
the question is, how do you know that the person you see in CJC 32 is the owner of the Toyota double cab that we identified earlier?
Yeah.
Just by looking at this photo, how are you able to tell that that is the person?
Without maybe then divulging the parts of information that is still under investigation. But what we're projecting, it's what has been confirmed through different means of how we confirm images as well as information behind the image. I'll use maybe the first layer that moving to areas like the Parliament, like moving into this area, I must be accredited. And then my correct particulars must be captured somewhere. Now, if they will be confirmed, if they will be checked against the particulars that are in the registration of the car, I'm not saying that's what we did. I'm saying it's for an example, Commissioners.
Why are you sounding like the National Commissioner when he was asked about the WhatsApps? He would not confirm or deny. He left it in the air. So my last question is, when you say this gentleman that we see in CJC 32 is a personal protector of General Sibiya, how do you know that? Aren't personal protectors of commissioners employed by SAPS? Is this gentleman employed by SAPS or is he a private individual?
Okay. No, that is very correct, Commissioner. The personal protectors of sub-senior officers are employed by SAPS, but in this case, then for different reasons, then it's not the case.
This gentleman is not employed by SAPS?
Is not employed by SAPS.
He's employed by General Sibiya? Or you don't know?
I'm not sure of the usage of employed, Commissioner, but the activities from the allocation of a vehicle and some close protection movements will talk to a gentleman not employed by subs, but performing those duties.
Thank you.
In passing, in response to Commissioner Khumalo, you say that the personal protectors of senior officers within subs is provided by subs. Did I understand you correctly?
That is correct,
Now,
Commissioner.
let me ask you a specific and direct question. Does General Sibiya have subs personal protectors?
The information that talks to the protection of senior officers, it's normally coupled with a threat and risk assessment. That is a classified document. It's something that will be between the senior officer and the national commissioner who's approving. So unfortunately, commissioners, I can only be able to give a hint on one that talks to myself because it's normally set for protection purposes centered around the two people, the senior officer and the national commission.
I would understand that to relate to whether protection should be provided, but it's something else whether factually protection is indeed provided. I would understand if your answer was, I am not able to divulge that information for security reasons. But the answer that you have given does not answer my question.
Maybe then, Chair, with your permission, if I can combine the two responses into one, that we are custodians of threat and risk assessments for everybody associated with SAPS. So we have access if we have to go to a file and review or conduct any other additional information or investigations. But the divulging and talking about the threat and risk assessment, it's governed by those policies, like I mentioned, in terms of the TRA of the investigating officers for the GCI ops.
General, you have provided us with the proof of ownership of the BMW, and you haven't done that with this vehicle, this bakkie, that you say is owned by Mr. James. Is there a reason for that?
Thank you, Chair. We can refer to it as an omission when we are packaging, but we have the computer printout like we have with the BMW.
So you have official proof that it is his vehicle?
That is correct, Commissioner.
All right. Will you make that available to the evidence leader for our records, please?
Yes, we will do so.
Thank you. Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. Just a few questions following from that. The first is, you confirm that the owner of the Toyota is Mr. James that you referred to, right?
That's correct, Commissioner.
And you, in response to Commissioner Baloy just now, you said you have a printout like with the BMW, but I just want to confirm what it is, whether you mean to say that or whether you have a form of a printout, because the one for the BMW is from the internal system.
Yes.
Is it the same kind of printout? I understood that to be for vehicles that belong to SAPS.
Yes. So in response, the vehicles that belong to SAPS are centralized in terms of proxies hence then the system will be different. But for the individual, the system that most of us, as we register our vehicles, it will be reflected on the INATIS system.
Okay, so it's a different system, but proof that it is registered to this individual that you named.
That's correct, Commissioners.
And
Before you continue, will that be marked CJC 33 or something else? When it comes?
when it comes, I think, what was the last one? 32. I think for the sake of not interfering with the next witnesses' exhibits, we'll make it 32.1.
32.1, all right, thank you.
And you confirm that it is the same, the person in the picture on the screen right now is the same person that's in the picture on the slide with the guilty convictions.
That is correct, Commissioners.
And you've conducted an investigation in order to establish that that is indeed the same person.
That is correct, Commissioner.
And just to follow up also on the question of protection, do I understand you to be saying that a senior officer in the SAPS doesn't automatically have protection protectors? It's not automatic.
That is correct. It's not automatic. It's always a recommendation that is given after a threat and risk assessment has been conducted.
Okay. So, so it's not automatic. And to the question whether General Sibiya has SAPS protectors, your answer is, just to get that clearly, because I didn't quite get it when the chair was asking. So does General Sibiya have SAPS protectors?
Looking at the level in terms of the policy, he is supposed to have. The only part that one cannot detail in this platform is to confirm yes or no, because the TRA is a classified document that talks to the subject and whoever is responsible for the recommendations.
Okay. I'll leave it there. He might need it after you're done on the stand. But we won't press any further with the status of the protection. We are now done with the exhibits in this bundle. Is there anything else you wished to say about this link that you were trying to make before we move off this topic?
Okay. No, thank you so much, Commissioners. The concern that we have as we're dealing with this project talks to the infiltration of, in this case, I will say subs at the highest level by the syndicates. Before you even do the detailed investigation, looking at the basic profile of the individual, it tells you that it's either individual is part of a car hijacking syndicate that is working very hard, looking at the timelines, that it's not one vehicle per year. Maybe it's 12 or whatever the target. So that is what we think it's a worry of what we are facing as SAPS to be easily, whether we use easily infiltrated or easily befriended or easily be associated or easily be any other weight, because it makes, as we are saying, and I quote and I hear the evidence by the witness A, B, and C, it makes the lives much difficult, because now for them to come closer to the individual, they must first go through the Deputy National Commissioner and then, which is something else. So with this, we are confirming and proving the challenges that we are facing as to, because the other thing that we can add is the professional criminals that are part of syndicates and cartels. This is a must that they must do. It's a must that they must be closer to higher levels, so as then it becomes difficult for lower levels. I should think there's been evidence that was led, I'm not quite sure whether it's this commission or the ad hoc committee, where MADLANGA will be on the process of wanting to get closer to the so-called generals, including myself, because getting closer, it's a requirement that will make it difficult for the operators to do their work. So it's both ways, that it's either a senior officer will want to get closer, or for any other reasons, or it's the professional criminal that will have a need for protection purposes to be closer. And that is done in many ways. So that's why we are worried about the trend that we see growing within SAPS, which makes the work of the juniors very, not difficult, but painful. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, General.